Ooh, I'm excited but nervous. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, y'all, welcome back to my channel. The Next Journey, I was about to say Journey with Tiffany, but the Next Journey. I'm so glad to have you here. If you are returning, thank you for returning, girl or guy. You are like chef kiss to me. I appreciate every single person that has joined me on this journey. And if you're just sliding through because you're interested in a book, welcome too. I hope you hear something that you like. And I hope to continue to do these over time. And maybe if you like the kind of books I like, then you can hit that subscribe button and join me and we'll keep talking about it. But anyways, I wanted to this is something different for my channel that I want to start doing and continue to do because I love to read. I don't do it as much as I should or could, but I'm starting to try to get into it. But when I find a book that has to be talked about, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to hit record because I need somebody out there to know that there's a good book out there. Today we're going to be talking about the book Never Alone by Paige Dearth. I'm looking at it, you guys, on my Kindle there, that middle book there. And I'm looking at it because I don't have it in the physical form because I read it on here. I found it on here. I think I was just scrolling one day through Amazon and rolled up on it, just trying to find a good book somewhere, anywhere. And I think I was hours into my search when this popped up and I thought, why not? We'll try it. And I did, and I do not regret it. So let's talk about Never Be Alone. First of all, let me go ahead and read you the synopsis. Before I read this, Paige Dearth has written 13 books. She has them in I think series. This is the Home Sweet Home series, and it's number 5 of the 6 books in that series. So just keep that in mind. And I just happened upon this book and started reading it. And I do this thing where if it allows me on here, I will get a sample of the book to my Kindle. And then if it hooks me, then I go ahead and buy it. And that's kind of how we got there. So, all right, here is a popular highlight. The worst poverty isn't about not having enough money to survive. Real poverty is when there is no one in the world who loves you. When there is no other human to make you feel like you matter, as if you aren't worth the air that you breathe. Poverty of love is the worst thing you can be deprived of. June chose homelessness over foster care. Can she survive the harsh life of city streets? The Home Sweet Home series is a collection of standalone novels. 8-year-old June has no time to grieve her parents' sudden death. Ripped from the security of a loving family, she endures horrific abuse in a system intended to protect her. After 4 years of torture and her foster brother's attempt to seal her innocence, she runs away to Philadelphia's poverty-stricken streets. Coming of age while homelessness, June must fight just to stay alive. Despite the danger and desperation that surrounds her, she clings to her dream of offering the world something positive. But kind acts don't put food in her belly as she searches for love and a place to call home. Never Be Alone is a standalone dark psychological thriller. If you're looking for courageous characters, an edgy story, and a heartbreaking true-to-life tale, then you need to read this book. Warning, 18+ readers only, graphic content and subject matter. Praise for Never Be Alone. That is the synopsis. Don't know how that sounds to you, but when I tell you this book gets deep down and dangerous, you better believe it. So I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts because I just don't like that. I just want to give you just enough. If this book sounds of interest to you like it was to me, that you will go and possibly read it. What I do encourage, just like I do my perfumes and anything else, is test it out. If you can get a free sample to your Kindle, then go do it. So just like anything else, I think you should test it out. If you have a Kindle, go ahead and download the free sample, read it, see if you like it, see if it's your kind of thing. I will also, if you stay to the end, be reading a little bit of it. As we wrap everything up, I will be reading a little bit of it. I don't want to get a copyright or anything, so I can't just sit here and read it to you, or I most definitely would. If I could read books to y'all, I would sit here and literally read them to y'all, but I don't want to get copywritten. But anyways, this book, y'all, is deep. It is one of those, it gives the warning for 18+, but I'm going to tell you, if you have had any PTSD of any type of thing in your childhood and you haven't worked through that in therapy and, through medication and therapy and not even necessarily forgiveness, but forgiveness if you wanted to, making amends with, people and things and all that, then I caution you on this book. This book is raw and gritty. If you have been through the foster care system and you had, very traumatic experiences, that it could be triggering. This for me is a world that I don't know. It's a world I didn't have to experience, and so I could read it and not feel triggered by it. Although when I tell you it took me down through emotions, there was days of tears, there was fear, there was anger, there was anxiety for this little girl. I mean, I was literally pissed for this little girl, like this was a real little girl. Chink in the element, this is a real story. The author, Paige, actually wrote these books based off of her own life and her own life experiences. So I think that's pretty deep. I actually didn't know that until I got done with the book and started reading about the author. And that made me even more sad, because that means that, like, I already knew that people out there went through this kind of stuff, but to know that this was a person that actually went through that wrote this book was very deep and very heart and gut wrenching for me. You want to cheer this little girl on. You want to be happy for her. You're sad for her. You're angry for her. You're scared as hell for her. You're hurt for her. You're just all the things for this character. The author did such a good job making sure you felt an array and a range of emotions for this young baby. It was a baby being subjected to things she should have never been subjected to. Y'all, this book is it almost makes me want to cry right now, but I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. I got somewhere to go. But y'all, this book was so intense that initially I had to just like, oh no, I gotta put this down. I can't read this, And then I would be like, but I gotta see what happens. And then I would start reading. I'm like, whew, no, okay, I gotta put this down. Like, it pulled at my heartstrings. I'm a mom. I've worked in human trafficking before becoming a therapist. I'm a therapist, so I've worked with children in the beginning of my career. And I have kids and I have a heart. And so some of the things that she had to endure as a kid was just disgusting. And it wasn't mildly, it was grotesquely disgusting and hurtful and harmful. And it's the kind of things that I as a therapist think about when people get older and they struggle in relationships and in life, and maybe they're angry, maybe they're depressed all the time. This is the makings of that. And it just is so heartbreaking. But when I tell you this is such a good book, is it deep? Yes. Is it like triggering? Could be. But it's such a good book. It's so well written. And oh my gosh, she created scenes that amongst something still not great, you wanted to cheer it on. You still wanted it to be like, come on. Yes, I'm so glad for this baby. I'm so glad. I'm so happy. And it wasn't even a good situation, but it was better than what she had. It was something that didn't leave her alone. And then the next thing, it changes. And then you're like, no. Y'all, it's a deep book. I'm telling you, I've got like tears pulled up behind my eyes that I'm holding back, because I knew this world was out there and I hear about it. I have friends that have worked for the foster care systems, that have talked about the things that they've seen and heard and the emotions that they've felt leaving kids in bad situations and all these things. And I just can't imagine. Y'all, the book is so good but so intense that I want to read another one. I really want to. But I don't know if I'm ready. I was like, whew. When I got done with it, I was like, that's a good book, but I got to read something else. I got to read something like totally different than this kind of book, because it was just so intense for me. You might read it and think it was nothing. I read it and find it very extremely triggering if you've been through anything like it. You may read it and like it because you can relate to it and you do know that world, and it grabs you and it reminds you of where you came from and where you are now. I don't know. But when I tell you this is a good book, I really encourage my readers, my moms, to take time out for themselves. First of all, to just sit down and get a book and read. I like tangible books. I wish I'd had this in a tangible book, because I'd have really thought I was doing something then, y'all. But I had it on my Kindle because that's where I found it. I don't care what it's on, your tablet, your Kindle, your phone. You go to the library, you order through Amazon. Just get the book. Just get a book, first of all, and sit down and park your butt somewhere and read and relax for a minute, because we can't always be on go. And then if you can muster up the strength to read this book, or even try, or even find it desiring to want to read, do it. Do it and come back here. Come back here and let me know what you think. What did you feel? What did you experience? Let's talk about it, girl. I will get in them comments and talk about it with you. Let's talk about it. I told my daughter and I like to walk every day. And I wasn't letting her read the book. But I'm a good storyteller. Let's pat myself on the back. That's the shoulder, but we're gonna go with it. And we walked while I literally told her that whole book. And she was even floored. And that's just through me editing and telling her what the book was about. And I remember getting choked up. I remember getting like emotional and all the things just as I was telling her the story. So I won't hold you long. This was a quick 2.5. I just wanted to tell, and I can't tell you much more because I don't want to spoil the story. All I can tell you is this is a young girl, a young baby that accidentally gets put into the system, as it tells you, because her family dies. There's things surrounding that, because I'm sure you're probably like I was, like, well, she ain't got no family. It will tell you about it. She ends up in foster care system, which just so happens to be the worst thing that could have happened to her. Now, let's just say this. I'm not saying that foster care is the worst thing that happens to people. What I do know is I know a lot of people who've been in foster care systems and are messed up because of it, have horrible stories surrounding it. And I also know people who've ended up in there and had beautiful stories from it. But I do know that those beautiful stories come a dime a dozen. They're not very often. There are some where their adopted family was 100-fold times better than their original family. And I love that for them. But that's not the story. So before anybody comes in the comments talking about, I had a beautiful story, it's not about that. It's about the book. And it's about this character in the book, like so many others in this world. And again, I'm a therapist. I hear it all the time. All the time. So far, y'all, I know personally some really good foster care family situations. But as far as a therapist, I've never heard one come to my desk that was a good situation that didn't bring lifelong trauma. And it's just so sad that so much of it is negative, much more than it is positive. And this little girl's story is evident of it. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. As much as you don't want to see a baby on the streets, I was like, go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Run. So, and I thought to myself, it makes you sit and think. I remember closing the book like, man, what would I do if this was me? What would I do? Well, and if I had to be on the streets, where would I go? What would I do? It's that life that, a lot of us just don't know. Some of us do, but a lot of us don't know that life, even if we lived a life of like, shelter, but no shelter. And that meaning that, you may have had a home, but it didn't feel like a home. You may have had a mom, but or dad, but they weren't present, but at the end of the day, you still had a roof over your head that wasn't, maybe some of us, that wasn't harmful in certain ways. And so I cannot imagine living on the street, but I do know that if I were June, I probably would have took my chances too. And it's just so sad, all the things that she goes through. So I just won't tell you much more because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to go read it. And I want you to come back here and find this video. And I want you to tell me what you think of it. Even if it's that, Tiffany, I couldn't make it through it. Or I read it in 2 days. Whatever your emotions are, I am asking that everybody is kind to each other, that we talk about it kind of like book clubbish, we talk about it and we all the things, but we support each other and we support each other's thoughts and, experiences. And if someone shares and things like that, I don't want any meanness or anything like that going on here. And I don't say anything I say to be malicious. I know there's two sides to every coin and story. And I'm not asking for people to come in here and go like, oh, hey, I didn't have that experience. We know not all things are the same. But we're talking about June and June's experience, and it wasn't great. And so we are relating that to other people that have gone through that. Please read this book. I'm going to try to read another one of her books. I think there's one called Twin Sister that I think I'm kind of interested in. I don't know. She has quite a few of them. But yeah, if you like to read, grab this book. Grab your favorite beverage, a Coke, some wine, a cold glass of water, some tea, whatever. Light a candle, find a cozy section, put a blanket on, put some jazz on the TV, or if you like to read in silence, that's fine too. Find a cozy corner and make it intentional by doing all the things that you love: the candles, the drink, blanket, the environment, and read the book. Read the book, immerse yourself into this character. Put yourself inside of her, not outside of it. Line up with her and see this as she sing it. And then when you get done, remind yourself that this isn't just a character in a book. This was a lady that actually experienced this. Literal experience. That broke my heart even more when I got done and learned that this was like real and not made up. I'm sure some of it's made up. It's a fiction book, but it does say that it was based around her life experiences. So, all right, guys, I've done enough talking. I was just going to hop on here real quick because I could not talk about this book. I have a whole lot of books, which I've left on my community tab, I think. Books that I really like. So Black author books that are just written by Black authors, as well as just anybody books, everybody's books that I love. And this is one of them. It's on there because it's the first time I read a book of its caliber and I will never forget it. So let me know what you think. And I guess I'll see you and talk to you in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget, if you have the hype button, hype it up, like it, subscribe if I'm your vibe, because I'd love to have you over here. I hope to continue to do many more of these and movie reviews. Things do kind of touch me in that way where I want to say something about it. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, get out in the comments and talk to me. Let's talk about it. Share some of your own favorite books if you want to talk about books that kind of fit this genre, remind you of this. Please remember to be respectful and kind to anyone in the comments that might share some of their experience. I want it to feel more like a book club / group therapy if needed. I don't want it to be malicious, mean, or any of that. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this, gotten something out of it. I hope that you will subscribe and join me. And if not, and you're just sliding through, thank you for coming. Hit the like button. It supports the channel. Let's read a little bit of this and I'll see you in the next video. Prologue. Just a child. She's a girl, just a child, no older than 15. She's dirty, her clothes are frayed. She wears her hair long. It's knotted and greasy. You don't want to get close. You might catch what she has. Can you catch homelessness? You tell yourself it's a ridiculous thought, but you still don't dare approach her. Although she is fragile, the girl scares you. One day, the girl catches you watching her. Your eyes meet for a split second, and blood rushes to your face. Guilt fills every crevice of your body. She's a girl, just a child, no older than 15. As summer fades and the first autumn frost chills you to the bone, you wonder where she will go, how she'll stay warm. By early November, it's been weeks since you've seen her in the alleyway begging for money, the same spot she sits in every morning. You wonder what happened to her. 2 weeks go by, and still there's no sight of her. At the end of the third week, you panic. You should have helped her. She's just a child. You find the courage to venture closer to her edgy friends, the others that know her, the ones who are like her. And you ask, where is she? But they do not answer. One of them holds your gaze steadily until you look away. You can't stand the pain in those eyes, such weathered skin on a teenager, the bony face and neck, because food is a luxury for them, and they don't have enough of it. Now every day, you stop on your way to work and stare at the spot where you last saw the beautiful girl who looked so lonely. You wish you had asked if she was okay. Maybe you would have helped her find a shelter, said a kind word, made her feel like she was, well, human. Months later, buried deep inside the newspaper, you see a picture of the homeless girl. Her body was thrown away on the side of the railroad tracks like garbage. In the picture, she is homeless. You recognize the alleyway where she sat. She's smiling, but her smile reveals her pain. The news story says the girl's death was no accident. She'd been beaten, tortured, and sexually assaulted, reduced to nothing. She was left naked in the mud next to the train tracks. Later that night, you awake from a nightmare sweating, but you're safe in your home. You pull the covers up to your chin and settle back to sleep, but sleep rejects you, and all you can think about is the girl and the other children living on the streets. She was just a girl, just a child, no older than 15, when her life ended. If only you had helped. Paged Earth. Go read the book.